in Chosame, Kitchipits young, which is one of the women's not this is the one, Manitoulin. Mandasaga, Chinop Magnica, not always a good tech, you demanded Ontario, Ejnikadik, Canada. Mimanda, Mam and Jimmy Biak, Bish, Barnagamek Mampi Kitkamek. Minito went dog with Manda, Minitominis. Good also Mampi, Nishnabing and the Kiat, Tenun. Mampi Minising, Mino Nibina, Kabeting Oshikik. Mandagam is not this long, with about the Mang Manda and Kitchipitian. We know the Madian, Kinegegu or Chigan. We know get any the Mang Mandan the Moina now. Me know you, me know Jajakung.
I look at it as a normal process in life, and I see myself aging gracefully at my workplace. I'm known as the language keeper, the knowledge keeper. I want all the children, students in my community to call me Nokmis. Nokmis.
I keep very active for my age, and I do a lot of outside activities. Like, for instance, every year, as long as I can remember, I've been doing Winterwood. When I retired from work, I noticed I was a bit overweight, and I started walking. I walk with my dog. I talk to my dog. It keeps my mind thinking all the time what to do, and my dog's a very happy dog. He doesn't talk to me, but. We get along well. And I garden a lot. I have projects. Every year I have a different project. Last year I built a little addition to my home. And the year before that I built an outdoor cooking area. This year I built new flower beds. Okay. And also, I started to build a pizza oven. And for my mind, to keep my mind, as we age too, our mind also ages. And for my mind, I do, like puzzles and word find and anything I can find keep my mind active.
At this age, I never thought I'd knew technology. I'm surprised where I'm at with this filming, where to put the cameras and how to set it up and even the tripod. It was a new learning experience. And I am happy that at this age that I was welcome to come and take part of it, and I really enjoyed it.
We have to start finding a way to earn the respect from children. What I usually do is I show them magic tricks or teach them something new that they don't know. And when you bond with a child, it comes all through his life, and he ends up calling you uncle, like they call me Uncle Lou.
Huh? What? How'd you do that? How did you do that?
Healthy aging, to me, would be to be at peace. And the way I found that is to give up my old habits that I've had. I had suffered immensely with addictions. And then I found a way to get rid of all that. I eventually got into a self-help program. I was out there for a long time, pretty close to 40 years. And then I had to do something. So when I came home, I found this job at the treatment center. I helped out a whole lot of kids that came from all over, pretty well all over Canada, and so many of them.
A part of healthy aging is the ability to be able to get your voice out there and to get your point across, not only to yourself, to others in your family, but to your leadership. I enjoy meeting with all the seniors and elders in our community. It's a privilege to be with them.
A lot of our aging individuals are very reluctant to participate when they feel that they're not really understood. Individuals that have compassion to provide the help I think that when they do that, they have a better understanding of the needs of the aging, and that services provided for them appropriately.
People have indicated to me that they would like to know more about the Elders Council, and they also wanted to maybe present some issues. So it would be good for the Elders Council to have maybe openings for presentation. It could be structured in such a way as to maybe do a little video, and then the issue could be brought up to the Elders Council, and then they would discuss the issue within their own selves and see what could be done.
I had a setback, some medical procedures. Upon returning to my home, I had a little bit, some issues regarding the setup of my home. It wasn't fully accessible for me. There's too much stairs in my home. I feel that we need more services for us in the home, because we want to stay in our home as long as we can and not be put in nursing home when we're still mobile.
As the subdivisions were being built around the community, there were multiple housing units built. And I guess maybe to save time and cost, they built all the homes almost in a similar way that they would go, and they're quite high. There should be some kind of investigation into the previous accidents to determine what the corrections should be to further prevent future faults.
We got to have safe areas where older people can live. In the future, when the baby boomers come to the nursing home, there's not going to be enough room in the nursing home. So they got to have a suitable place for them to live, like design apartment blocks where 6 people could stay with a caregiver, which would have a walkway all around where they could walk undercover and inside too for the cold days.
Over this past 2 years, one of the things we have learned is how resilient we can be. COVID has really taught us a lot of valuable lessons. One of the things I've learned is to be reliant on others within your own circle. I worry about it because of my age. As I advance and as I am getting older, we must look out for each other, and our elders and our seniors are in need of our support, but we also got to be cautious and prepare ourselves when we're working with them.
It was hard, especially losing your partner, and then this epidemic virus came along 2 months right after. So really, my family couldn't visit, or I couldn't go and visit them. But I was happy that the support workers were jumped in and helped me out to ease a little bit of the stress that I had through my days because of the epidemic that was happening. But once it started to clear, they started avoiding the days, and later on I noticed that they don't call anymore to give us an update or where I stand with this epidemic, and it was still scary. And now almost the 4th wave is coming, and it's still scary. It would be nice if they were still contacting me, but they, especially our home PSWs that comes to the house once in a while, not weekly, but every 2 weeks, I think. Even them, they don't want to speak, they just want to do their job and take off. So it's kind of hard, especially living alone, nobody to talk to. But if they call and at least call, you don't have to come, at least I'd be happy to. At least I know there's somebody cares.
My mom's in nursing home at the present time, and she'll be 100 next in October, and she always talks about let's go for a ride, let's go for a ride. And in the like the budget for the senior home, it would be nice if they could take them on excursions outside the community to visit other communities, other nursing homes, other First Nations. That I would, when I'm there, that's what I'd like to do.
Presently, at our community of Wikwemikong, we do have a team of support workers, personal support workers. So far, the service is very, I find it very good. However, these services are limited sometimes, that the government provides limited funds, so there's only funds for maybe during the day only. As older people, we are often called upon to help our relatives, our friends, driving somebody to an appointment up in Sudbury. And the other way we also help each other is maybe provide meals to each other. I've had meals delivered to my house, and also like in return too, I help my family out and feed them as much as I can in nutritious meals. And sometimes we do have to phone and make phone calls for them as well, because sometimes they can see the phone and sometimes they don't know who to talk to.
The family members that's looking after the elderly would have to be taught on home cooked meal, healthy cooking, to go with the elder. Because you can't have the same meal all the time just because he likes it. And it's got to be something more nutritious and something that he really enjoys. Sometimes the caregiver doesn't know all that. So I think they have to be trained in a way, to do the home cooking. The older family members could help the elderly in their family, in their home. It's usually for transportation. They're the ones that have the driver's license. Usually the older one would have his license taken away by then. And then a family member or a trusted member of the community could go along, as a helper, to go to attend to all these little things for doctor's appointments or any medical appointments, or even for business affairs, like going to the bank and stuff like that.
It's important for those that are providing for the planning of activities in the community to ensure that the elders are included in their consultation, that they can hear what is important for our elders to contribute to the activities. And they themselves have the lived experience, positive or negative. I think either one of those are positive in providing appropriate directions. Oftentimes when planning is being done, I would be the one that would contact the elderly, and I would have the questions for them that would assist them, and that they themselves are identifying what they are in most need of.
The older people have to learn the technologies of telephones and that, and probably the best way to do that is from the young people, because they can operate computers, and the older people, they don't, because they never had it before. The scammers usually phone everybody once a month or so, trying to scam you. And a lot of older people believe what they say. They don't. They got a be taught how to handle the scammers. What I usually do is I don't answer private numbers. I let them leave a message.
I think, our community should host workshops on wills and on power of attorney, prepaid funerals, and this you can do at the AOK Legal Clinic. They have this information there. And also they have information on the power of attorney. This is where when you get a certain age, you forget or your mind it's not quite 100%. And a power of attorney, you appoint a family member to look after your affairs. Elders are caretakers of our language, our culture, and the environment. And it would be a great loss if we lost our traditions, our gifts.
It's kind of hard for elders to do their teachings, like firekeeper, for instance, because that's what I teach. Because right now we don't have very much firekeepers at all. And in this no joint they give us a plan to go out in 7 communities on the island so that we could teach the younger generations so that they continue with the knowledge that they'll receive.
My passion is beading, and I'd like to pass it on to the next generation. Seeing my grandchildren wear my beading projects gives me pride and joy. I make my own moccasins and part jewelry, clothing, and I put prayers in my beadwork. I see not too many people are beading. I really would like to see more.
I've learned a long time ago that the language, how important it is to people like my parents who are speakers. It was never passed down because of the intergenerational abuse and what they learned from the residential schools. And because it was forbidden there, they didn't try to teach us. And my brothers, my sisters, we don't speak it. One of the things that I have learned over the years is that the language, it protects us. It's what the Creator gave us so that we could talk amongst each other, and not only just talk, but it's a way of life. It defines us.
Because I was brought up with families that had the language, only the Ojibwe language, I'm in a position to assist with the different organizations. They would like to include the cultural, the traditional practices.
Spirituality is very important in our lives. I found it through the sweat lodge. That's our ways, the native ways of doing it. From there I learned to be accepting to the Christian way of life, which I naturally was, and that myself would be that I'm an Anishinaabe, so I have to walk that way also. So what I do is I help out with the services in the church, You know, back in the old days we used to have that incense. Today we use the smudge with the eagle feather, and that's the same way, it's a church, and it's also you practicing my traditional ways.
When I think of healthy aging, I have a lot of concern and a lot of dread, actually, because I worry about not only healthy aging for myself, but healthy aging for this world, for Mother Nature.
Not long ago, they had said if our temperature goes up 1 degree, that we would be in big, big trouble. And the temperature went up 2 degrees. So we're starting to get the effects from that by breaking records every year. When you break a record temperature, the ocean expands because the temperature expands the ocean. And that's why our Great Lakes stopped flowing and the water went up in the Great Lakes because of the temperature rising. We have to stop taking so much from the environment and start just taking what we want. Don't take everything.
Part of my job is, as a consultant, is to know and understand climate change, invasive species. We have aerial spraying on our berries and our bushes and our trees and our forests, which is spreading a poison. And it's something we have to really start looking at and start to understand. Everything is here for a reason.
There's violence on the reserve that are assaulting or beating up the older people. They're robbing them of their money, their household belongings, for drug addiction that they have. Some of this have to be set aside or just to prevent it.
And one of the messages that I've received lately is forgiveness. Forgiveness is hard to do sometimes. When somebody does something bad to you, you start to respond in a rough way. And the best thing to do is forgive. And that way, when your day's over, you're clear because you got nothing negatively around you.
Every morning when I get up, when I meditate a little bit, I ask for forgiveness, whatever I've done in the past, whoever I hurt, whoever I say the wrong words or something like that. In this way, I walk my walk peacefully.
In our communities, the children, now they're elders, they have taken the responsibility and the courageous step to come forward and speak to the conditions that they experience, especially in residential schools. I would like to thank those individuals that have stood up to speak to what had happened to them. That takes a lot of courage.
The 7 grandfather teachings are very valuable in all aspects of our life. And, we can't go on living in the past. I know they carry a lot of pain and anger. And then once they find out about the 7 grandfather teachings, they would learn, how to forgive. If it's not forgiven, then you're carrying something that you really don't want to be burdened down with.
As far as the truth and reconciliation is concerned, there needs to be more done on that between all our communities, especially with the people that instigated or started the whole process. That it's very harmful. It was very harmful. It was very hurtful, and especially to families. The family unities have been are now divided. Some of them. This is where maybe the Elders Council could maybe help out with the community to bridge the forgiveness that has to occur between all of us. That the peace will continue and the forgiveness will be there in each of our hearts.
Way, hey, way higher.